Another day in paradise down on Pig Island. Got one of the long boats out here for another day trip, all planned for me. Happy days. Same one that we come back from, not the same one, well it might be, from the full moon party last week. One of those long boats, a skiff type thing. Short description of Pig Island is basically the owner of this island saw pigs being kept in a poor condition in the market, decided to buy one and bring it back to his island, where they multiplied. He bought more. Then he realized it was costing quite a lot of money looking after them, feeding them, time and all the rest of it. Somebody gave him the idea of getting a load of them and concentrating them here and offering tourists to come and see them. And the island's absolutely stunning in itself. Beautiful water. You're standing off from Koh Samui, so you get to look back at it and see the magnificent peaks and those high features coming up from the sea, and get that alternate view of the actual island, the beautiful island that you're staying on, separate outside view of it, back to it. So it's a no-brainer for this to be a destination. So you come and see the pigs, feed them, the little baby piggies, piglets, and the full-grown ones. They're all having a feast, loving life. Yeah, and it's a beautiful little stop. Moving on from here to another island. We do a bit of snorkeling, kayaking, swimming, have lunch as well. So it's good for me. It's rather than trying to plan a little day out, which I do like doing, like with the bike and having a little adventure. This mixes it up where I get something planned for me. They tell me where to go, they tell me what to do, and we crack on with it. Like the other guys on the bus, there's a girl from Netherlands who, whilst chatting, we both discovered that she's deaf in her left ear as well, which is bizarre. It also means we both lied on the disclaimer form to come on this, because it asks if you have any hearing problems or ear issues. So we obviously both put no on that one. Naughty. There's two girls from England, Oxford. Should I chat about that? I got arrested in Oxford years ago. No charges, all dropped. Didn't do anything wrong. It was a stag do. We all dressed in Top Gun outfits. Somebody in a Top Gun outfit had done something wrong. Shoppy. Do you remember Shoppy from my travels? It was his stag do. That's why I brought up his name. It was his stag do. And I also spent a night there homeless on one of the tramp faces when we cycled Swansea to London, living homeless along the way, and then ran the London Marathon after 2 nights homeless in London at the end of it, which is pretty good. One, that isn't a book yet, so I can't start throwing in mentions for that. But the 3 before are books. Tramp Face series, check them out. I am roasting you. A lot of dog shit on the beaches around here. Not just this one, all of them. It's a lot of soy dogs, as they call them, street dogs, wild dogs. Guess the beach is just one big kitty litter for them. Where else? A dog's fault, is it? Where else are they going to go? Pig Island's worth a little stop. Not really, just for the pigs. It's a bit of a gimmick, isn't it? Well, the little ones are quite cute. But I wouldn't come here just for them. Like if it was shit here, like no scenery, just like a little dark inland place, you're not going to come just for the pigs, and you're coming for the scenery, which is magnificent.
Jump. 1, 2, 3.
Essence. Right, seeing as I alluded to a stag do story when I was on the beach, and I told one yesterday while I was floating around snorkeling off Ang Thong. Won't be fair if I didn't follow it through and tell the story with it. So we were in Oxford, Shoppy's stag do. If you remember him from Porto, earlier videos, Lone Wolf this year, and I stayed with him for a night before going to USA. So I went to Oxford for his stag do. He lives in Henley-on-Thames. We all dressed up as Top Gun in various forms. So some people as officers in the whites, I was in the like flight suit, aviator shades, all that gubbins. And on the night out there was an incident. There was a fight which some of our group were involved in. No exact names of who. And like as soon as it happened, just blue lights started appearing. We were right in the middle of town. Cops. Of course, being South Wales boys, the sight of blue lights and sirens, we all egged it. It's just natural reaction. So we all fled the four corners. 2009-ish, 2008, 2009. So they had mobile phones, not as advanced as they are now. We had them. We all fled, and then eventually, like, we all starting to get stories of who had gone where they'd ended up. And they came up with a plan. A couple of lads had been called by the police, and they said, look, we're not arresting you, but we're giving you a section, whatever, notice to leave the city centre limits, or you will get arrested. So the lads had done that, and they'd pinpointed a place on the outskirts that we were all allowed to go to. So we all started making our way there. So I made my way to this bar. So the lads had already vacated. I was having a pee outside. Two police officers approached me. Of course, seeing how I was dressed, quickly managed to stop myself. And the guy was like, were you just urinating there? I was like, no. And the girl, like, she knew I was. And he did. Stopped me, they radioed in. Said they'd found one. They were like, oh no, we're not arresting them. As long as they're not in the city centre, they're fine. So I was like, oh, cheers. And then the girl officer, the female officer, said to me, oh, if you need to finish your pee, why don't you go inside that place there, the bar? I was like, yeah, right. She stitched me up. So I went in there, fully dressed as Top Gun. Noticed there was quite a few other people dressed. Fancy dress. Like the village people. It was a gay bar. I never had so much attention in my life. Anyway, I got out of there. I was trying to find the next. Some coral there. That's not good. So I started walking to the next destination that Paula told me to go to. I was called up by two female police officers, different ones. Questioned me where I was going, what I was doing, this, that, and the other. And I said, look, I've just spoken to your colleagues up the road. They said, there's no charges, I'm fine to go. She said, yes, that was true. Well, that is true. However, situations change because one of the guys involved, sustained a broken jaw. Therefore, it's been treated as assault, previous body harm, whatever. It's now been escalated. And we're arresting anyone dressed in a Top Gun outfit. So I was like, oh, it's a fair cop. That's how it is. Offered my wrists out to be handcuffed, which they promptly did. There was a bit of a wait for the meat wagon to turn up. Probably because they were just arrested like 15 blokes in the city centre all dressed up. So they were scattering around trying to pick them all up. So it was a bit of a wait, so we stood chilling out, chatting. So asked me where I was from, what I did for a living. I told them from Royal Marine, and they were like, oh, a couple of guys in the station are former Marines. Just chatting away, I said, oh, I'm long back from Afghanistan. So yeah, this must have been about 2008. They're like, oh, amazing. And they were like, oh, do you know what? Come here. They took the handcuffs off me. Can't have you stood there, do you mean? Royal Marine. Just come back from war. I was like, oh, thanks. So as we stood there, we just on like a corner, there was a few like open roads around us, directions to go. I said, right, girls, I said, what would happen now if I legged it? I said, bear in mind, you've just taken those cuffs off me voluntarily as well, so you're going to get in trouble. They were like, well, we chase after you. I said, well, fair enough. I said, well, in light of what I just told you, what I do for a living, odds are I'm probably going to outrun you. And they were like, yeah, true. They were good sports, fair play. So being the twat that I was, so like dashed to the side as if I was going to run, and they were like, don't do that. And then we just had a laugh about it. And then he took me back to the station. The guys picked me in the meat bag and weren't so friendly. I got my phone out there. He's on his phone in the back. He's on his phone. Oh, what am I doing, mate? I just robbed the bank, have I? Coordinating like a heist getaway. Anyway, back to the station we went. And most of the lads were there in the reception. Is that what you call it? Police station? Booking in cell, booking in desk, custody, sergeant corner. Interested a few times, no sort of expert on it. And then slowly we all started getting rounded up, and as we were all coming in, we were all like making jokes, laughing at the sight of each other, telling our stories. Okay. We all got nicked and thrown in the cell for the night. Of course, questioned, hours later, eventually released under caution and whatever the system is under investigation. And then the next day, all the stories kept on coming out. And like the custody officers booking us in, they were like, when we were all there having a laugh and joking, they said, fair play, guys. You are the happiest, friendliest people we have ever arrested in our lives. So they're all just having a laugh and having a joke. Like, yeah, because we haven't done anything wrong. Well, one of us had. But it's another story. And then the next day we got a story from Paul. So me and Paul had travelled up in his motorhome. And we were staying in that. So he'd gone back to the motorhome. He'd got away with it, hadn't been nicked or anything. Got in, got undressed and gone to sleep. One of the lads had let slip that a couple of us were staying in a motorhome. He won a camper van, it was like full on, holiday motorhome. So the police dragged it down, one hard. We were parked in a city centre car park. He'd left the door open. He blamed me for this because he'd left it open for me, expecting me to come back. Of course, I was in the jail cell. So police got in through the open door, woke him up, told him he's under arrest. So he got up, put some joggers on and a t-shirt to go with them. And they were like, no. You got to get dressed back in what you were wearing last night. So he's like, how does that work? Like, you have to put on what you were wearing last night. He went, no, I don't. He said, so if I murdered someone 20 years ago, he couldn't arrest me unless I put the same clothes back on. Ridiculous. Anyway, he did put them on. He joined the party, got arrested as well. So I got released, got on with the weekend, went posh punting and got drunk for the rest of it. Shoppy didn't tell his wife-to-be about this. She wouldn't have been impressed. So it was kept under wraps. We all told our respective misses. He didn't, so we had to keep that quiet. And then, just by pure timing, the night before the wedding, we'd all gone up to Henley-on-Thames to stay for the night. Like the evening before, we all had the phone call and the messages, the voicemails from them saying all charges had dropped and they'd gone away. I wonder if she knows about that to this day. Probably not. If she watches this video, then she will. So yeah, so that's the Oxford stag do story. Felt like couldn't leave it out after dropping one on you yesterday. Absolutely love this type of scenery and this type of place and environment. That mixture of beautiful contrasting blues in the sea, pretty calm waters as well, and then reaching out you've got that slither of beautiful bright sand, and then straight behind it you've got the backdrop of that dramatic cliffs and high features just coming out covered in untouched jungle. It's pretty hard to beat. Been a lot of places in the world which are very much contrasting to this, which have just as much beauty in them. You're talking the Arctic, like with the northern lights. And again, just that sea of untouched snow and wilderness. There's a multitude of places on Earth have got their own beauty and their own unbeatable standards. This type of place is paradise, and for me, conjures up feelings of adventure, like a boy's own adventure. You think back to stories about tropical desert islands and being stranded and cast away there, and even explorers. And I always, when I'm looking at this type of scenery, you got those untouched islands just in the middle of the sea, just inviting you in. Thinking back to the people who explored them and found them, not just the first ever person that came across it. There'll have been loads of people who thought they were. And even after they'd been discovered and people knew about it, there'd still be loads of people who would have come here on an adventure. They'd heard stories about it. They'd heard the dangers of it and the beauty. And they came here with it without it being well charted and well known, and went there on their own discovery. It just conjures that up inside me, and that imagination. And one of the reasons I joined the Royal Marines was for adventure in different places, and I got that in a lot of places. Some places similar to this, Central America, Borneo, down this part of the world as well. And that's something that's always been inside me. So coming to these places just stirs it up, and I love it. I could just sit there and daydream, looking into the jungle, and then you turn around and then you've got like beautiful inlets, natural harbours and bays that you can drift into, get off, see some mangroves, beautiful clear water. These little days out, if you're staying on Koh Samui, are the way forward. You can base yourself on the island, and then you can just take these short trips out to the surrounding islands and bays, get that magnificent view back towards Koh Samui, and just go and find and discover these little coves, get off, have a wander around, have a dip. The water's just amazing. So refreshing, but comfortable as well. You can come out on the sort of more modern boats, so you can get one of the long boats, more of an authentic experience and adventure. But either way, it's definitely worth getting out here and having a look around. Yeah, and it evokes emotions in me about imagining coming here just with a small team on a little boat, not knowing if there's any indigenous people here, and just going ashore, trying to work out the land, trying to fend for yourselves, okay, and survive, and learning about it. Maybe I'll write a book about it one day. I haven't written any fiction yet, so that could be a little idea for me. Yeah, it's just something I've had since I was a young boy, and lots of young boys have, I'm sure, of just going off on an unknown adventure and just working it out. Like putting yourselves in a little bit of danger, which is part of the adventure as well then, isn't it? I think a lot of us can relate to that idyllic vision of being stranded somewhere. Maybe you're at a shipwreck and you've washed up on one of these little islands in the tropics, and just going into the unknown and trying to find out how you can sustain yourself. I think a lot of us have that imagination about that, don't we? Thinking it's quite romantic and it'd be an exciting adventure. The reality of it would be a bit different. Being a jungle warfare and survival instructor specialist, I can definitely relate. 7 weeks in the jungles of Borneo, like Brunei, then you get to find out how difficult it really is when you ain't got a tour guide and a boat to take you back to the mainland, to your air-conditioned hotel and pool. Things do get a little bit more real, but still exciting all the same, and still very rewarding, and still something that you should strive towards sampling at some point in your life. All we need now is the Beach Boys, Kokomo, or the Pina Colada song playing away. Get the Pina Coladas out, get the Bahama Mama cocktails going, and that would just top it off. I love a bit of the Beach Boys. It's a classic film, innit? Cocktail. It's like 80s, cheesy, classic Tom Cruise. Classic format of an 80s film, isn't it? You pretty much know what's going to happen, but you still can't stop watching it, because it's just classic 80s, as in it's corny and cheesy, but it's entertainment. You don't have to think about it, you don't have to analyse it, you just sit back and enjoy it, because it's got the scenery, I mean, it's got some good tunes in it. It just makes you want to jet off to the Caribbean or the Florida Keys locations. I guess just take me back to that movie. When I get home, I'm going to watch it, I think, just to prompt me to come back out, although I could just watch these videos and look at my own photos. Diolch yn fawr.
The Oaken World. The Oaken World.
That's close enough, mate.
It's close, 70%.
Yeah, it's better than the English can say it, so we'll give you that one.
Okay. The Oaken World. Okay.
Today was cracking. Everywhere you go around is just beautiful. It just reminds you of like a paradise tropical movie set. Set off from the pier where I stopped on my little bike epic the other day. Krong, I think it's called, something like that. But yeah, you did the islands, saw the pigs, bit of snorkeling. They give you lunch as well, that was nice. Chicken, rice, all the good stuff for me. Did have the worst coconut water I've ever had though. It was warm. I never had warm coconut, like she opened it there and then as well, warm, and it's funny taste to it. I'm nitpicking really. Bloody moaning about coconut water, he's in paradise. Then he bring you back, finished a bit earlier than the one yesterday, so still got a bit of time to catch the sun back at the hotel. Yeah, the tour guide is brilliant, man. He's full of beans, really happy and helpful and friendly. It's quite funny. A lot of Germans on the island, a lot. I'm not saying, which isn't an issue, I'm not saying that, just saying. Just been observant. A couple of English girls, Dutch girl, and 4 or 5 Germans. So the tour guide was like teaching us Thai phrases and words, and then like repeating them in their languages or trying to. And then he forgot Welsh because I'm just UK out here. And he was like, "Well, you don't speak English?" I said, "Yeah, we speak English, but we have got our own language as well." So I taught him thank you in Welsh. Diolch yn fawr. I got him to have a go of it. And to be honest with him, he was pretty good. Better than most English people I know. And I get a bit more confident with the Thai as well. I mean, I've already got the basic phrases. I'm not dabbling any further than that. I usually love when I get somewhere learning a couple of the basic greetings and I mean, thank yous and that. And then using them. For some reason, being a bit reluctant out here. Well, some reason, I think it's because they're not that as simple as like, gracias, hola. It's got the masculine and feminine, which is fine. I'm used to obrigado, obrigada. But it's the exact pronunciation that I'm just not quite sure of. And he went into it a little bit more today. He was like how to draw it out. Sawadee-ka. I'm still gash at it. I'm getting a little bit more. I'm using it more now. At least I'm attempting it more than I was.